You are watching Access LaPorte County, Channel 97. Coming up next is the May 22nd, 2024 meeting of the LaPorte County Broadband Task Force Workshop. You can find more information for this workshop by visiting www.accessLaPorteCounty.org.
Just want to say sorry, everybody. Thank you for your patience. There's a widespread power outage here in LaPorte right now, and our IT people who were here, as well as another one that came in, are working on different things in the building with the power being up and down right now. That's why our IT person who was assigned in here for this meeting isn't in here right now. They're taking care of our power outages can affect a number of different things, including our E911 and everybody else. So they're working to make sure all that's up and going. So one will be in here soon, though, once they get the rest of that hammered down.
Thanks for that update. All right, so can you hear us, Scott? People on Zoom? Well, once we get to Scott's round, I think we'll try to get him back. So I'm going to officially start the meeting. It's not an official meeting, which means it's not a commissioner's meeting or an RDC meeting or something like that. This is just something that the commissioners and economic development thought should take place because we're going to be talking about broadband. So my name's Carlton Bishop with LaPorte County Economic Development, and I am a broadband liaison with the state government. And what that is and what that means is that the county does not control broadband. We don't tell like internet service providers to service one specific spot or another. It's really private. So what that means is it's kind of like they're a grocery store or any other kind of a private business. And we really do welcome their investment because at the end of the day, they don't have to come here. They really don't. And we like what they do. But we want to work together to try to get things served. And it's important to understand that today we're going to be talking a little bit about Next Level Connection and BEAD, and those are state-led grants. And what happens with those grants, the state government stipends out money through different infrastructure, bills, grants, things like that, and then they work directly with the providers in order to score them and then award grants. Now, we can help try to guide that process a little bit, but at the end of the day, it's really a state and internet service provider kind of thing. So today I've invited internet service providers here to connect with the community, and the agenda today will be, we'll let them give like a brief little presentation, and then we'll be open for public comment. And I think Indiana Department of Transit, they're also here too, that they would like to say a couple of things. So without further ado, I'll turn it over. Let's see, I think we're alphabetic. So to Comcast, and I'll man the PowerPoint for you.
Okay, well, while he gets that up, can everybody hear me okay? Okay. My mother always says I talk too loud, so if speaking into the microphone I start to blow out your eardrums, just raise your hand, and I probably don't need a microphone. But my name is Phil Goodrich. I am with Comcast, and I appreciate the opportunity to present this evening, and thank you to Carlton and the task force for the opportunity, and thank you to everybody for attending this evening. So you can go to the next slide, Carlton. So real quick before we get into new build from Comcast, I just wanted to give everybody a quick snapshot of Comcast's footprint here in LaPorte County. So we serve a number of communities in LaPorte County, and we have for many years now. We are currently at over 860 miles of network infrastructure in LaPorte County. That infrastructure serves homes, businesses, schools, etc. with gig internet, video service, home security and business security services, and then with access to Xfinity, our customers also have access to mobile service. We also have a pretty extensive enterprise fiber network, which also provides up to 100 gigs symmetrical service for sort of your bigger economic development projects that either are coming here or are currently here that need further service as well. Can go to the next slide. But we're here to talk about sort of what's coming next and sort of the build out of broadband to those that don't have service currently. So right now Comcast is in the middle of a project that we have been working on in relation to Next Level Connections Round 3. So during Round 3, ISPs across the state were awarded grants to build out to addresses that did not have access to high-speed internet. Comcast won one of those grants here in LaPorte County, and that project you can see on the map comprises addresses north of Westville and sort of in that northeastern corner of the county as we get towards that state line with Michigan. The project is 159 unserved homes and businesses with a total investment of over $800,000, 70% of that being Comcast private investment and 30% coming from the NLC program. We're well into the project now, so we've gone through initially signing contracts with the state of Indiana, design, engineering, permitting, and we've been under construction now for a couple of months. So we're really looking at closing this project out over the next few months. And the nice thing is, with a project like this, you can start to bring people online before the project is finished. So those areas where the construction started can come online and customers can begin to receive service as you finish out the rest of that project. So we're actually hoping very soon to be able to reach out to customers and let them know that they have access to high-speed service now when they didn't before. This is an all fiber build, so everybody will have access to gig symmetrical services or anything on the spectrum of services that Comcast provides, and they'll also have access to all of those products I mentioned before. If they'd like video service, if they'd like home security service, if they'd like mobile service, all of these addresses will have access to that. The question was raised, what will outreach look like? I can only speak for us, but with these addresses, we intend to make sure that every home on an individual basis at least knows that the service is available to them and let them take it from there, whether they'd like to take the service or not. That's in the form of sort of an all of the above, meeting them in person at their door, mailing information to them, and then there's always information online. If you go to xfinity.com, type in your address. If your home is serviceable, it will come up as serviceable, and all of these homes, once the project is done, all of those addresses will be in the system and show up as serviceable on our website. As far as installation goes, once we reach the point of installation, we are expecting what we consider a standard installation for every home. So that means no more than 10 days from the point you sign up for the service is installed at your home. It can certainly be a lot quicker than that, but as a project finishes up, you might have, knock on wood, a large number of the homes in one project all asking for an install at the same time, but we are aiming for no longer than that 10-day window from the point that the service is requested, and at this time we don't expect there to be any charge for the installation. So the service will be installed, and the only bill will be the bill for whatever services a customer chooses. And then could you go to the next slide, Carlton? One thing I like to mention with projects like this and with our current network is that we always want to take into account those income constrained households, those low income families that might not have had access before, but also may not be able to afford the service once it's available to them. For the last 13 years, Comcast has had the Internet Essentials program, which has provided affordable internet to income constrained families. All of our current network and these new addresses will all have access to these services. And when signing up for service, Internet Essentials is an option for those households. And then as far as next steps go, so Carlton had mentioned sort of the next round of next level connections. So our project was a next level connections round 3 project. There is a round 4. Comcast does not currently have an application in round 4 in LaPorte County for round 4 of next level connections, so we're not expecting to have an award during that round. But Carlton also mentioned the BEAD program. So next level connections, if I remember correctly, Carlton was $270 million. The BEAD program is $868 million for the state of Indiana, with the goal of getting every last household and business access to broadband internet. It gets rounded up to 9 a lot. I think it was around 868 million, but nationwide it was 42 billion. So, but that program is meant to fill every last gap, whether the majority of those gaps are filled by next level connections or not. That BEAD program is meant to get every last home and business access to high speed service. We will be taking a close look at those gaps that might still be here in LaPorte County. The state is wrapping up its challenge and rebuttal phase to sort of refine the data and make sure that everybody who is applying with the right information. Knock on wood, that could be coming this fall, and we'll be taking a close look at LaPorte County during that program. With that, my contact information is here. My office is in Mishawaka. I cover about a 10-county region here in north central and northwest Indiana, and I'm happy to be helpful on any of these projects from a Comcast perspective, and I'm also happy to answer any questions. Oh, okay, perfect. Thank you so much.
I'm Jim Morris with Surf Internet. Thank you for having me. I'll go over a little bit about Surf, if you're familiar with Surf. If not, I'll tell you a little bit about it. So Surf Internet, our corporate office is in Elkhart, Indiana. We work in 3 states, Indiana, Illinois, and Michigan. We're actively building in all 3 states. We bring fiber to the home. You can see some of the highlights of what we're doing. Particularly, we've invested over $22 million in LaPorte County. We've kind of built out a lot of the area in the county, in LaPorte, surrounding areas. That picture, the picture is from our Christmas party last year. That's Mayor Tom. He was a speaker at our party, and we presented him a plaque for being a gig city at the Christmas party there. So we're very well invested in LaPorte. We have an office here. Our customer service and call center is in LaPorte, which is kind of something when I talk to different towns and cities in around. That's one of the things we highlight, because it's important. If you have a customer service issue, you're calling a local person, a Surf employee in LaPorte, Indiana. So a lot of people like that. You can go to the next one. So talking about next level connections, looking at the map, you can kind of see where we've served and what's unserved, and then some of the areas we've expanded into: Kingsford Heights, Hanna, Union Mills, Salem Heights, and La Crosse. You can go to the next one. So this map shows some of the areas available that are available now that we've built out. And then some of the areas that are coming, some of the future BEAD areas, and the red squares are from Next Level Connections 4. We'll find out hopefully in a couple months if we're able to fund those for the build. Okay. And then this just kind of shows, one of the questions we had was, how do we connect to the home? just a graphic showing that we do like a handhole in the right of way on the property line. It normally serves probably 2 or 3 homes. It's buried, and then we run the line. If you sign up for our service, we run the line to the home. A technician will come out and run the line and inside and connect it. With our service, you get either 1 or 2 euros, and they'll make sure that you have good connection, good fiber throughout the home before they leave. Next one. Yeah. So this just kind of shows restoration, what the whole handhole would look like in the yard, and the process there. Next one. And then just more pictures just to give you an idea on the process there. Next one. No, you're good. So yeah, so then we'll come back through and knife in the line in the yard right after they do the install. That's it. So the other thing I would say is our when we offer service, we try to make it very user friendly. We don't have any contracts. We offer at least 3 services, and typically there's no connection fee. And then it's also a price lock for life. So if you're getting 500 speed at $55, that's what your bill's going to say. And like I said, there's no contracts. So very user friendly. People are like that.
All right, thank you so much. And do we have Scott? Are you there? I think
I'm here.
All right. So take it away.
Okay. All right. So I'll share my screen. It says that you guys have disabled being able to share screens.
Tech department's at home for Hey Scott, can you
Yeah.
can you share now?
I tried and it said disabled share still.
What's wrong? There we go. She didn't go home for today. She's trying to share on her side and we can't get it. So it's probably IT did not leave for the day. Here she is, so we're good. That's what it looks like. Hey Scott, it's telling us that you're good to go. Can you try again?
I sure can. Here we go. All right. Looks like maybe we're good. So you guys see? Let me know if you can see this.
Yep, we can.
All right.
Thank you so much.
Perfect. Yeah, no, thank you. Hey, so it's great to be with you guys. Really appreciate the time. So my name's Scott Clark. I'm with Mercury Broadband, and thought I would just take you guys through a few slides here to get to introduce you to the company. And I thought we'd talk a little bit about obviously the project that we submitted for Next Level Connections 4.0. So company overview, talk a little bit about our business model, kind of how we go about things, a little bit about our product offering, and then, like I said, we can talk about NLC 4.0 and B. So we celebrated our 16th year in September of last year. We focus entirely on rural areas within Midwest communities.
Scott,
So
we can see your background, but we can't see the actual PowerPoint.
Oh, okay. You can see my background, but not. Oh, okay. Maybe I'm on. Hang on a second.
You have a Lenovo, correct?
Yes, I
All right.
do. So,
I think, yep, that's your background. Wasn't sure what the county had.
okay, hang on a second. You guys can't see that?
No, we can't.
Okay, hang on a second. Are we on the right screen now?
Yeah, that's it.
All right, great. So we'll kind of start over here. So we'll bring this up, enlarge this. So we're 16 years old. We focus entirely on Midwest communities in rural America. We're in 6 states today in terms of our market. So Illinois, Indiana, Michigan, Kansas, Missouri, and Ohio. And our expertise is in fiber, but also we have fixed wireless and hybrid network expertise. So we started out as a fixed wireless company 16 years ago. Our headquarters is in Mission, Kansas, which, to help you from a geography standpoint, is just a few minutes away from the Kansas City metropolitan area. And we currently employ over 400 team members today. You guys can see this, right? Sorry.
Yeah, we can.
Okay, great. From a business model standpoint, we are an end-to-end company. So we design, construct, own, manage, and market our own services. Some folks out there only do a few of those things. We already talked about the network types where we have expertise. The advantage of that is, within LaPorte County, it's kind of no man left behind. So if as an example, there's not enough money to make it economically viable to build fiber out to certain areas or pockets of the county because there's too few people and they're too far spread apart, we can certainly look at filling in those blanks with a very reliable fixed wireless service so that everybody has service within the county. While we make our home in Kansas City, we're very intentional about planting roots and investing and contributing to the economic growth of the states that we do business in and the communities that we serve. So we established permanent service centers within our states. So within Indiana, we have 3 right now. We're planning a couple more. What I mean by a service center is that is a brick and mortar location where we build a permanent facility and we hire and develop full-time employees that are local in order to deliver our end-to-end services. So we have a general manager within those service centers. We have all the folks underneath that person to construct the networks, to provide connectivity to the customers, come out and hook you up, and then also to provide care for the network and technical support for the customers. So those are all the folks that reside at the permanent service center. For LaPorte, our closest service center is Plymouth, I think just about 36 miles away. So it's very close by. And then we also offer, obviously, field sales and marketing support to make sure that, the residents are aware of that the service is out there, to help direct them to where they can go to get signed up, to do pop-up events, to help people get signed up, that kind of thing. We also own our own trucks, construction equipment. We try to do everything that we can to make sure that that we have the equipment we need, the supplies we need, and the skilled labor that we need, because all of those things are in short supply and in high demand, especially with BEAD coming on the heels of RDOF and other state grants. We do both aerial construction and underground construction. When we do aerial, we outsource that. When we do underground, that is our crews. And to date, we haven't really used any outside crews. So our standard approach is to use our crews to ensure, again, that we have access to folks, that, we do really quality work and restoration, et cetera, and minimize this disruption of coming in and out to build a fiber network. From the standpoint of what we offer, we have fiber plans and 3 different flavors of fiber. So depending on what a customer's needs are in terms of speed and what they want to pay, we offer 3 symmetrical options. So 100, 500, and a gig. You get a free, very good Wi-Fi router with that. We don't have any contracts associated with that. You can get, obviously mesh networks depending on the size of your house. We offer those same services and additional services for business customers. So we offer the same symmetrical offerings. And then, wireless plans as well. We offer 3 different plans, 30 up to 30 megabytes, up to 75, and up to 150. And we offer services to both residential and business for fixed wireless. And then additionally, we do offer digital phone service as well. So that's the offering. Talk a little bit about next level connections. So we submitted a project that is inclusive of LaPorte County. It also includes St. Joseph County as a part of one of the projects that we submitted. And just looking at my notes, it looks like that project covers over 400 addresses, 476, I think, were the number of addresses that it would cover. And we're still waiting, just like the rest of the folks that are on the phone, to hear whether that project is a winning project. And we should know something around, hopefully, the beginning of June. And that project, just to give you a sense for geography-wise, is in the eastern side of the county. So that's kind of a wrap for me, and happy to answer any questions that you guys have.
All right, thank you so much, Scott. So, as one last item, we'll have NDOT come up, and again, NDOT reached out, and they're happy just to communicate with providers, because I think you guys deal with them, on a daily basis. So I'm glad that I could help bridge that gap on behalf of the county.
Thank you. Do I have to tap it? Do you need this? I don't know. I'm pretty loud as well. So I'm Lauren Huffman. I'm the permit manager for NDOT LaPorte. So not only do I cover LaPorte, but I cover Lake County and the surrounding 13 counties. So I do cover St. Joseph all the way down to Carroll counties, White counties, which I believe all of you provide service for. I'm not super familiar with Mercury, but I'm pretty sure you guys do. I did make some sheets. What that covers is our basic requirements for any fiber permit applications on any state road. So anything that's U.S. route, state route, or interstate. We do ask that a couple of things when you're submitting your site plans, that not only do they include what you're putting, but what is already there. We need to know, any NDOT assets, any drainage structures, locates for gas lines, water lines, really important things, so we ensure that nobody else's property gets damaged during the installation. Also, our minimum is 48 inches of depth. I know it varies from city to city, but all across the state for NDOT roads, it is 48 inches of depth. If you're going to field adjust, please do not adjust more shallow. Please adjust deeper. Because if you do go shorter than the 48 inches, we would ask you to remove it. Because if we do a road project in the future, your asset would get damaged. On interstates, the minimum is 10 feet, as well as any signalized intersections. You need to keep them at least 10 feet away from our loop detectors to make sure it doesn't interfere with our traffic lights. Other than that, everything is available online. There's a map on the very back that shows everyone in the state that works for NDOT in the permits department. There's myself, who's the permit manager, and then all my investigators in all of their areas. So if you have an area-specific question, you're welcome to reach out to them by phone. They should be able to answer anything that you have. And while I'm here now, I'm happy to address any questions, concerns that you have about placing fiber underground or aerially on any state-owned road.
I don't have a question,
Okay.
but I appreciate you
Sure.
sharing this with us. And I'll just say, from our perspective, our construction teams out of Merrillville and Mishawaka have
I cover
always
those, so, yeah.
said that they've had a good relationship with NDOT and worked well together with you and your team. So
Yeah, I know. I mean, I'm not
much
here.
for
I just
everything
saw
you
this
do.
and I thought I'm going to come here and just try to make myself available for anything.
absolutely.
So yeah, I have extras if you want to take them back to the office with you, or if you don't, that's okay too. But yeah, reach out with any questions. We're always here. My engineer, my social projects engineer is here as well. So I don't know if there's anything you want to add.
Yeah, my name's Steve Travis. I'm with NDOT, LaPorte District, obviously. So I think what Lauren was trying to allude to as well, the planning portion, which it sounds like June is when these BEAD applications are going to get awarded, and then you'll get with your design firms, start planning out the routes, things like that. NDOT's right away is getting more and more congested as every new fiber or gas or other utility enters. So we're trying to be more careful with our planning, and also what Lauren was trying to convey. Your drilling team's super important. They're going where they say they're going because we're trying to prevent relocations. Generally utilities are in a right of way for free. There's no charge associated with it. Broadband's a little different, especially depending on what route you're on. There are charges associated with certain corridors. So I review the permit guide there. But I mean, whenever we have a project that comes up, you guys have to relocate, which I'm sure you're very well aware of. It's a big part of your budget, I imagine. So the more we can team up together on the front end to prevent relocations on the back end to save you money overall. So that's kind of where we're at, trying to team up, trying to get ahead of it, because we know there's going to be a lot of projects. Sounds like a lot of it's going to be rural, maybe not on state routes, maybe on state routes, but whatever we can do to team up here and assist you. So,
And please provide your as-built. Please.
we are pushing
Thank
for
you.
as-built now. So that is a
Our policy
stipulation.
says within 90 days of completion of work.
Yep.
And each page needs to be clearly marked as as-built with your fiber line installation in red, even if it's the same.
So,
Okay.
yep.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank
Appreciate
you.
it. Yep.
All right, so we definitely want to hear from the public, and I know you guys have trekked out here, so I will open this up now. You can ask myself or the providers kind of anything that you've been thinking about up to the stand.
I'll get it started as a concerned citizen slash consultant. What can we do to help you provide service to more residents? What is a single or a couple of things we can do to help you provide more service? I mean, you guys give it a go.
So, I mean, as is probably familiar to the commissioners and to Carlton, at the front end, when it comes to NLC or when it comes to BEAD, it's support from the community. The state wants to see that there's support from the community, that what the provider is proposing is going to fill a need, is going to be a benefit, is going to be an investment that helps the community. I would say that community support on the front end is the first thing. But when it comes to construction, opportunities to work together to move the process along. And I certainly don't have a complaint from our end to file with LaPorte County. LaPorte County has done great work with us as far as permitting goes and helping us move projects forward. But once you get through that design and engineering phase, you're really to the point where you're ready to put a shovel in the ground, and oftentimes it's the permitting process that can slow things down. I've come across projects with our team where we even started construction and permits halfway through the project just halted, and all of a sudden you've started a project, the community sees that the project has started, and then all of a sudden you're halted for 90 days, and there's nothing you can do until those permits come in. So, open lines of communication, working together to move some of those things along, I think helps get that infrastructure out into the field faster. Once projects are approved and once they're ready to get going. I don't know if you have something else to share as well.
Yeah, I think I agree with a lot of that. The permitting is a big thing. One of the things we try to do at a county level a lot of times is look for more of a blanket permit, so we can come in and quickly build an area if SURF is going to fund it. We like to do that. We also work with ICP events to try to help the community and help people apply for ICP to get funding for some areas that wouldn't normally get that. And whether SURF ends up building it or somebody else, we just think it's important that we do our part to kind of spread the word and help that get funded to get service.
We were, from our perspective on the county economic development side, really, the observation is there's a large amount of funding available, and we do have a fairly open public process, but there's going to be a point where we have residents who say, I would like to pay for the service, I would like you to get it here. And it's not going to end up on anybody's map, and it's not realistic to do that for you. And I guess my point is a couple things. One, in the BEAD round as you go forward here, okay, 780 whatever million. I divide that by the number of Hoosiers, and all of a sudden it's a lot of money to serve people internet if I take it one person at a time. So I would like the providers to be aware of our desire to share some of that risk that you guys cannot take as corporate citizens, and where we can provide the assistance to do more utility work, right? We do utilities. Actually, the government does a couple things pretty good. That's one of them. Where we can come in, and some suggestions for whether it's the state of Indiana or it is the federal government on methods to get this done to really reach out to more people that are beyond your current financial capacity that you're willing to do, I think is important. There's other items that, and I'm going to ask this question of everybody. So going on to the BEAD program stuff, what is the plan to deal with NEPA, and what is the plan to deal with Davis-Bacon? Is there a plan, or is the federal government working on it, or where are the providers on this? I mean, I see that as a fairly substantive problem. We're using federal money to do a project. There are federal funding requirements. I'm not sure if the rules have been promulgated on this item, but I can see that you guys just throwing up your hands and going, well, we're stuck. I mean, we're trying to help you and avoid some of that stuff. So can you comment a little bit about that?
I know from our perspective, I can't, not being an attorney who's sort of in the weeds on it, I don't want to give you an answer that's inaccurate, but I know those things are being looked at, but I think they're also being accounted for by by the state as well. So
Okay.
in the LLC process, you're signing a contract. So the project that we put up there, we made a commitment to the state of Indiana that if Hoosiers were making this investment in this project along with Comcast, we were committed to building it and building what we said we were going to build. I think you're going to see a similar process of that commitment with BEAD,
Yeah.
and those pieces
just think some of those things
are going to have to be addressed.
I would say, I mean, like I said, any federal project, you're going to run into this, and then you're talking about right of way and easements and public and private and so on. And I just, our goal is to figure out a better way to deliver more opportunity for access. And we understand and appreciate your position. And then these are things that our team has been trying to get ahead of. Just thinking down the road, what is stopping you from doing what we want you to do in that way? So
sure, and to circle back on a point you made earlier, Indiana has had ICP to try and reach that one address that got missed the last time that a build happened, or that address that was just a little too far from the road and couldn't work. BEAD, the thing about BEAD and the big difference with BEAD and with NLC is that, NLC, there was always going to be a cap, an amount of money that was never going to be able to get to everybody.
Right.
But with BEAD, as the state puts together its plan, as that data goes to the NTIA, they understand that after we apply and Circle applies and Mercury and everybody applies, there are going to be those pockets that you mentioned that nobody applied for this pocket.
Sure.
But they're accounting for that in their application process, so they can set that aside and say, okay, nobody applied for this area.
we're
going to create an extra incentive to bring somebody to apply for that area. So in that sense, they're accounting for it, but until we get into that process,
I don't know
NTIA approves it.
Yeah, I don't know that they're there yet, but that's good that you guys are aware, because with the second largest land area county in the state, and there's a lot of rural LaPorte County. There's a lot of roads that are have 5 or 10 houses on it, and there's no business case to be made. It's impossible. And what we're trying to do is understand that and figure out a way to make it work. So it's good to know that as the BEAD process continues, that there's an answer for that, other than we're out of money, it's too hard, or we'll get you until we get you. We've heard from a lot of people that that's not acceptable. And that we're going to rely on your expertise. And it's your responsibility. You're the internet service providers. We're not. And we have no interest in getting into the internet service provider game at all. What we will do is stand by and help you to be able to leverage any assets that we have to make sure we can expand it further. So that's really all I have for you guys.
Yeah, and thank you. And I think too, as I mentioned earlier, having an open line of communication. I mean, that's what I'm here for. Carlton knows how to get a hold of me. Anything that the county needs from Comcast, or questions they have now or during that BEAD process, I'm all ears. I can connect to any part of our company and make sure that we're on it and we're part of that conversation. And I think too, back to sort of how we can work together. We're not there yet, but when BEAD hits, and I think it's something that it's going to be something we've never experienced before. We're talking about $42 billion in all 50 states being spent at nearly the exact same time. This is going to be an unprecedented level of construction. And so permitting departments are going to be getting more permits than they've ever gotten before. INDOT's probably going to be getting more permit requests than they've ever gotten before, more documents to review, and I think we're all going to have to work through that together, because it'll be like I said, a level of construction that in this industry we've never seen before.
Yeah, we're talking about the permit process and the ability to charge for a permit and all that. I guess that needs to also be worked out in BEAD, because I know the next level connections, no expedited permit was allowed. The general philosophy was don't charge anybody for any permits, except there's an engineer that actually has to review your stuff. So I don't know where or how the BEAD, and this is really not your problem, this is more our problem. I mean, I don't think you guys would matter to you one way or the other. If you paid a permit, you still have to file them. So it's just going to be a function of cash. And when the county is relied on to review design guidelines and to be assured, that we're not encroaching on any easements, any other easements, and just general public works process. There's time and effort that goes into that. So that's something just so that internet service providers that we are looking into as a capacity issue for a jurisdiction to be able to keep up with you. We want to keep up. I mean, that's the idea, is to come in, go out, county, review, identify if there's any changes necessary, move on. I mean, we would rather have the crews out doing the work and spending the money and providing the access than sitting here arguing over a $150 fee of something. So
I think really everybody's going to end up getting served. It's just a matter of how you put the puzzle pieces together. We've got plans throughout the whole county.
Yes.
This year we're getting ready to start Michigan City in a couple weeks. We're going to build that whole area out and surrounding areas. And I think with all the money that's coming up, like he said, that it's going to end up getting there's a lot of people. Yeah, a lot of people that are working on it, and so I think it's going to end up. Everyone's going to get served eventually.
Good. Well, thanks a lot. I appreciate it.
Thank you.
Thank you. Would anyone else like to come up?
Sure.
Is this on or?
Yeah.
It's always on. Okay. My name is Dave Weiler. I live on 625 West. It's a half mile off of Highway 6. I have my neighbors Ron Cleveland and Sean Yaros here. There's 11 of us on a road. Most of us have been there for at least 18 years. The road's a half mile long. I've seriously probably 24 times talked to Comcast. A half mile long didn't seem like a big deal. They finally told me to just stop calling them. We're not ever going to service your area. Not ever. So that was a little problematic. So, I'm here to, say, hey, we're 11 houses on a half mile road off of a state highway. I mean, come on. I get there's paid, you have to, you want to get paid for doing it. There's money available to do it. But how the hell do we get in there and say, hey, these 11 houses need service?
Do you know, have you applied for ICP programs?
Yes. Well, I think all of us have. On the road, yeah.
So, I would imagine if you've done that and checked back, we're building a lot of ICP, but it's not only us that gets awarded these areas. I would think that should be coming, and I'd like to get your address and everything afterwards and see if that's part of our future plans or not. I don't know.
I was very aware of the fiber optics that we put in on there, and when I found out it was SERP, everybody said, well, hey, maybe we'll finally get somewhere.
Yeah.
Because, obviously Comcast just shut us down hard. And I've never seen that from any provider company. Whatever service they're providing.
Yeah, I don't know the circumstances of your address. If you'd like to take a folder, my information is in there, and you can send it to me so I can see in more detail what the reason was. When our plant terminates, it's not always as simple as to just tap on to the end of it and come down your road. So there could have been other circumstances involved that made the expense greater than what 11 new homes could.
Well, that could be, but
not knowing the circumstances. So, like I said, you're welcome to shoot me an email, and I'd be happy to look into it further.
Same for me. Yeah.
Okay. And again, all that we need is just to make sure that we have some avenue.
Yeah.
To say, hey, look, we've been ignored now for way too long.
I get that. I'd want to see how close we are. We're one of the largest provider of fiber to schools, so we might be close by with the school. I'd have to see where we're at.
Because 600, you come right off of 600. You already run down that way.
Yeah.
And there's actually a fiber optic cable buried now right next to our road.
Right.
So
I'll give you my card.
Okay.
And then you can, I'll check it out for you.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Hi, I'm Michelle Kelly. I'm on 200 East in Galena Township. Wasn't planning on speaking, so bear with me. But first, I'd like to address SURF because for some reason, you have my address as being served under SURF, and it's extremely inaccurate. I put through a challenge to the federal government, and they denied my challenge, and then told me I could not resubmit a challenge after that. I've looped people in, and then you know that, but then you told me I do have it. And you ridiculed me regarding that situation, telling me, oh, you have high-speed internet when I very much do not.
Well, I'm sorry. Again, I was looking at the chart that you were looking at.
I had not even gotten to that. But in the meantime, I don't have that. I need that to be removed from my address so that we can challenge this properly and document that I do not have high-speed internet. No one from 600 north to 800 north on 200 east has any kind of high-speed internet. We're definitely geographically challenged. Matt came out very pleasantly, thank you, and took a look at what our challenges are there. It's very hilly. We've got train tracks that we're dealing with, but we are 3/4 of a mile off of the toll road, and then we're also just off of 20. So Comcast comes to 600 on 200 east from 20 to 600, and then they stop. And then you've got about a half a mile of cornfield, and then you've got my house. So yeah, it's expensive to run it out there for another 15 or 20 houses, and a lot of us are set up high on the hills too. So there's another challenge too to bring it all the way up to the houses. So I understand what the challenge is bringing it to us. There's not a lot of us, but we're all very willing, and I'm kind of speaking on behalf of the neighborhood here because most of them can't do these high-speed tests because they don't even have enough bandwidth to do that. We're all running off our cell phones. We don't have any kind of fiber at all. We don't have cable. We don't have. We just have wireless, and that's even kind of iffy depending on where you are on the road. So if I go to the barn, I can make calls on my cell phone, but I can't use the internet. So if I'm in the back, then I'm lost. So we've got no landline phones anymore because that was cut on 20 when Frontier was putting in their high-speed internet. They cut their own phone line and won't repair it. So I'm hoping to see, and especially with the gentleman here saying that they use all their own labor, because the labor that's being used right now is substandard. There's been gas leaks, there's been phone lines cut, there's been a lot of problems with the labor. The trucks aren't marked, there's no DOT numbers on any of them, especially on 1000 North and on 20, no DOT numbers on these trucks, no markings on these trucks of who's doing the work. So we're really not even sure who's doing it, what's going on. It's really kind of a mystery, and then, I get looped around everybody and then no answers. So my business line got cut after 15 years. So I've got 15 years of contacts that can't contact me because somebody else got high-speed internet. So I'm really wanting to make a little progress today to at least remove me from the map of being served, so that I can get service. If we could at least just start there, that would be fantastic. So if I could talk to you directly after the meeting, that would be great. I don't know how to get myself off that map. I tried. I've done all the high-speed tests that I can do. I've run everything, and I haven't gotten anywhere. So I would appreciate just even a little bit of attention. I realize it's going to be a long time coming to get internet, but take me off the list to put me back on, please. Thank you.
Thank you. And we can get you Mercury's contact too, ma'am.
I would appreciate that.
Sure. Well, would anybody else like to speak? Sure. Sure.
So, by the way, thanks for coming out tonight, and thanks for joining us remote. Like you said, it's going to be unprecedented in terms of construction. We are really pushing safety. We've had 923 deaths on our roadways this year. I know sometimes we get contractors that come in, want to do everything quick, which is great, but from a top-down approach, we're pushing safety in terms of maintenance of traffic, and that it's done right and done safe. So that's it, whether it be on INDOT roads or county roads. So we just want everyone to go home safe. So, but thank you again for coming out. Appreciate it. Thanks.
Thank you. Anyone else? If not, we could close the session. Again, thank you so much for the providers taking time out of your day to come, and thank you all to the public who showed up to voice concerns. And the county would just love to continue to see development and working with you guys to get grants from the state government and utilize those funds. We have a great, like you said, we as the county have a great building department that can assist you with BEAD, and we're looking forward to doing that. And it really is going to be amazing. I mean, you said close to $900 million for Indiana. That's insane. So I will do my part to update the public again, and we will, as BEAD starts rolling out, I will personally invite I have a few people that have contacted me, and I personally invited them today. But we will continue to update the public, as things roll on. Thank you again, everyone.
Hey, Carlton, where can people find information about the program? What's available on our website? If there are other people that may be watching, because we're trying, continuing to do outreach. I know outreach is a big thing for BEAD, and it's something that needs to continue. So can you explain a little bit about continued outreach efforts by the county and how that relates to the broadband committee, so that people watching and listening can follow back up?
Yeah, thanks, Matt. The question for those of you on television or rewatching the replay, how can you keep up with BEAD, broadband, and all these updates? So our official LaPorte County website, you can get there easily. Just Google LaPorte County BEAD, or we might be getting our meeting cut short. So you can go to the official LaPorte County website, and we'll post updates there. We'll be notifying the press anytime there's a major update that way, in leveraging our media channels. The state government too, if you look at their official indiana.gov page, again, you could find it just by typing in broadband or the word BEAD. The BEAD is going to, like I said, be huge, so it'll come up pretty easily. You could track all of that too. They'll actually lay out awards that they have given, what's in the pipeline, and what's going to happen in the future. So again, thanks everybody.
I'll just add, Carlton, the state also does workshops that you can join online.
Right.
That the public can join. No, I understand that, but if even if you're not at home,
she said you have to be online to join the workshop for those who can't hear. So,
but
that's a very good point.
That would be great, because I know why. There's no internet, guys. There's no internet.
No, I understand it.
Internet to people fails miserably.
No, I don't work for the state. I was just wanted to point out that they have been doing those forums.
In the last 3 years, that's the only contact I've gotten. It's all because I'm trying my best to pay attention.
Oh, okay. Well, I'm gonna officially close the meeting, and then we can convene after.
Thanks.